at the New Orleans Women's Children's Shelter, where we go
Mm.
out and bring supplies and bring awareness to domestic violence. So I've been doing that since 2023. So everything has been kind of like progressive for my ministry. Like I said, it started off with a blog, and then it moved from doing outreach ministry, and that's basically how I evolved with the blog and with the ministry. So now I'm writing about my experiences with this chapter in the book.
We are about to move over to the next author. We are going to be talking with Miss Rekitta Peters. Hello. Uh-oh, you're still muted.
I'm sorry. Hello, Dr. Rana. How you doing? It's nice to meet you.
It is nice meeting you too. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of the show. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. So, before we get started, tell everybody who is Rekitta Peters?
My name is Rekitta Peters. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a graduate of Warren Easton High School and also of Dillard University and also Columbia University in New York. I'm an urban planner by trade, but also have a love of reading since I was a kid, and journaling and researching. So at the later stage in my life, I seem like I've grown closer to more journaling and reading and writing. So it's been coming. It's like a reinvention of who I am via the written word.
All right, all right. And you know what? First of all, what's up, home girl? You know, my
Yeah.
my nephew went to Warren Easton.
Okay. Okay. We
yeah,
got something in common. Yeah.
yeah, he played football for Warren Easton. He was a quarterback.
Okay. Okay.
Said, I mean, I told everybody at the top of the show that I'm from New Orleans, from New Orleans.
Yes. 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 I heard the earlier interview. You're definitely from New Orleans.
Yeah, I know. And you know, it's funny because people tell me that I don't sound like I'm from New Orleans, but you know what actually happens is people when I'm talking to people who are from New Orleans, they say you don't sound like you're from New Orleans. But people who are not from New Orleans who talk to me say that I sound like I'm from New Orleans. So I think that when you have the trained ear, you don't
Yeah.
think I'm from New Orleans. So
Definitely from the one though. From the previous interview I heard you're definitely a 504 girl, that's for sure.
thank you. Thank you. So tell me about your books.
My book is called Boldly Beyond 50, A Black Woman's Guides to Aging with Excellence. Actually, I'm a co-author. It's an anthology booklet, so I'm a co-author with 12 other authors.
Okay.
So I have a chapter in the book, and so the book is basically about reinventing your life at the age of 50, letting people know as they approach age 50 that life is not over. It's also shares a lot of inspirational chapters within the book from the previous authors about overcoming different things, you know, how lives and how you can transform your life and still have a quality life beyond the age of 50. So that's basically the gist of the book. Everybody has their own individual chapters as the co-authors, and my chapter focuses on finding my purpose after the age of 50. And so I'm enjoying the I enjoyed the process. This is my first time as an author, as a co-author and as an author in general. So I've enjoyed the whole process of actually turning my journal writing into actually something that is a published work, which I'm very appreciative and grateful for, and I hope it helps someone as they read my chapter as well as the other chapters they read within the book.
Wow. So what made you decide to do that? I mean, first of all, I think that that is a great introduction into writing. And anybody who is even thinking about being an author, I think being a co-author in an anthology is a great way to kind of dip their toe into the writing world.
Yeah.
Um, because you kind of get an introduction in it. You know, like okay, you kind of see what it's like, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is that why you decided to do it this way rather than writing an entire book?
Yeah, for me, I think I started like I guess you call baby steps. Like I said, I
Yes.
always read. I was always a reader throughout high school, junior high school. I always had a love for reading. I would find that was my space I would go to. When I read a book, I would just like imagine me being in wherever that area was that I was reading in, the characters. I had pictures in my mind of who they were. So I always had a love of reading in general. And I think for me it was progressive because used to have a not a podcast. I used to have what they would call a blog. You know, I started
Yes.
out
Yes.
blogging back in 2017, and I always journaled. You know, journaled my feelings, my thoughts, whatever I was dealing with, whatever. So it really started through journaling. Then it moved from journaling to actually having a blog, and then it moved from the blog, you know, to where I'm at right now. So it was kind of progressive in my case. But I'm not surprised that I eventually was able to write something and have something published because I was always a reader and writer throughout my my journey. But I think for me this has been like the next step beyond the actual having the journaling and then having the blog.
And now, what was your blog about?
My
Did you?
blog was called Purple Vision, and Purple Vision is a ministry that I found after experiencing being a survivor of domestic violence. So it's
Mhm.
basically a blog to empower victims of domestic violence to create a better life for themselves and their families, and to honor the legacy of those women. And I know that domestic violence is also experienced by men, but mine basically focus on women because that's my own life experience to honor those women who have lost their life due to domestic violence. So my blog was basically about that, and I would have other survivors, other to do guest appearances on my blog. So that was something that I found back in 2017. And then, like I said, I moved from blogging to just I could just continue to journal and stuff like that. And I've done the ministry kind of evolved to me actually doing outreach, going to women's shelters and sharing about domestic violence awareness. So for the last 2 years, the Purple Vision Ministry has done what they call an annual domestic violence awareness month outreach event at the New Orleans Women's Children's Shelter, where we go
Mhm.
out and bring supplies and bring awareness to domestic violence. So I've been doing that since 2023. So everything has been kind of like progressive for my ministry. Like I said, it started off with a blog, and then it moved from doing outreach ministry, and that's basically how I evolved with the blogging with the ministry. So now I'm writing about my experiences with this chapter in the book as far as my what my purposes in life. And I really believe that that's one of my purposes is to be able to serve in this ministry and help victims survive domestic violence, at least minister to their needs based on my own life experience.
Wow. I've written, I've written quite a few books actually that center on domestic violence in its various forms. Spiritual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and it's amazing that a lot of people think that domestic violence is only mental abuse.
Yeah,
People don't realize that it is in so many different forms.
correct.
Um, and that just because a person didn't lay a finger on you does not mean that you weren't abused in some way, and
Yeah.
uh, and that you can't be affected in some way. And I'm sure that as you visited these different shelters, you found women and children who were abused in different ways and were affected in different ways.
And so sadly, statistics is showing that domestic violence related incidents is the number one reason why people are homeless.